but I don't know yet. Hence, therapy. Howdy ho, everybody. I have my mic that I normally use, but I cannot for the life of me find the part that actually plugs into the phone. You know, the important part so that the mic works. So we get whatever audio is going on. So I apologize. My cheek looks funny. I don't know. I have a lot of feelings. Hence why we're back on the floor. It is a place that I feel the safest. It's on my floor. But it's also where I like to just sit and talk with all of you. And I have been doing a lot of reflecting lately. I am in the process of finding a therapist. And in doing so, it made me think about why I need a therapist at all. And me being me, I'm very much the type of person who likes to be very introspective, and I think through things a lot, for better or worse. That's a good thumbnail face. Of course, that means thinking about the past, which is never fun. And I brought this up before. There is like a 3 or 4 year chunk of my life that's just gone from my memory. And I wish I could tell you why, but I don't know yet. Hence, therapy. And we're gonna get there. But when trying to remember pieces of my life from that time, some of them have been coming back, again, for better or worse. But the ones that I found the easiest to remember were my memories from my summer camp that I went to. So much so that I want to dedicate a whole video to it. This camp was a camp for military kids, which I am, obviously. Why else would I be there? Not only did I go there as a camper, but I was also as a junior counselor. So not 18, so I couldn't actually be a counselor technically, but I could volunteer and get hours. That's what I did 16 and 17. This camp confused me a lot at the time, not because of anything that happened at the camp, but the fact that I wanted to go at all, because I would get so violently sick during and after this camp. Every year I would think, in the midst of the sick, be like, I can't go back, I can't do this to myself again, I just don't think I can do it. And then a year comes around and it's time to sign up, and my mom asks, do you want to go this year? And every time, without question, my answer was always, yes, I do. Is there a baby gonna join us? I heard him. Is there a baby? Is there a Mr. Man? In. I know you're out there. He walked away. He does not want to join us. He might later. Not right now. So yeah, every year I had that same exact feeling of, I need to go back. I could never pinpoint why. I could never tell you why. Part of me knew I should go back, and so I did. And, oh, there he is. Hi, Finn. Come say hi, everybody. It's our Finn spotting. Say hey, yo. Gentle kisses today. You guys have something to say to everybody? You weren't here when I went to camp. No, you weren't. You go in? Up on the bed. Okay. Guard the bed. So yeah, looking back now as to why I kept going back to camp, it was because it was the 1 week that I felt like I was wanted by people my age. That equals better. And again, this took me a really long time to figure out, because I genuinely couldn't remember why. As I remember more and more from camp, the more I realize how differently I was treated that 1 week to how I was treated at school. I think the biggest thing that made me realize this was how I was treated post-cancer surgery. So back in 2014, if I remember right. Yeah, 2014. Sorry, I'm very bad with dates with everything that's happened. June 24th, 2014, I had my cancer removal surgery. And at school, this led to 6 years of bullying and just being treated generally awful by my classmates. The one difference was when I went to camp. Now, my camp was far enough after my surgery that I was able to go, and there were certain activities I wasn't allowed to do because, again, I had just had major surgery, but the camp was more than happy to accommodate. I was able to do most things, even if I did need a little bit of accommodation, but the fact they just wanted me to be able to go. I remember being at camp. I didn't have my band-aids on anymore, so my scar was visible to everybody, and almost nobody brought it up for a while. It wasn't until day 2 or 3 that my friend that I just lost my train of thought. My friend actually, just like sitting next to me, noticed my scar, and she asked about it. And she's like, well, at first she thought there was like food on my face, and she's like, oh, I think you have something on your face. And I was able to be like, oh no, that's my surgery scar. I had surgery a few weeks ago, and we were able to talk about it. And I remember being really scared that what happened at school was now going to happen at camp, but it didn't happen. Everybody, they asked questions, they wanted to know what was going on, but I was not treated any differently after they learned. I was treated the exact same. Maybe I was like learning how soon after the surgery was. People were more willing to, if I needed to hang back, they totally got it. Like, if I had to bow out of an activity, everyone's like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, night and day comparison. Where at school, I had friends leave and stop talking to me after it. I had people who tried to latch on to everything and my vulnerability and use it abusively, I guess is the best way of putting it. But at camp, it was seen as a piece of my story and something to talk about, but that I was still the same person. And that, I think, is the biggest reason why I kept going back, was the fact that these people, my friends at camp, only saw me 1 week of the year. Like, we didn't really talk in between. The only time I saw them, I talked to them, I knew them, was at camp. It was the 1 week a year. I didn't feel like I needed to hide the sick parts of myself. If I got dizzy, all my friends understood and would find a place for me to sit down. If I was struggling mentally, they would talk to me about it. They always made sure that I was included, even when I was really scared to be, because I was also a much bigger, heavier than I back then too, and so a lot of the physical stuff I would struggle with. We had like an obstacle course that we did, and part of it was that you had to lift everybody up and over this wall, and of course I was everybody. And although there were, like, the year after my surgery, I could just kind of go around the wall, and everybody was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. They every year was like, no, we're gonna get you over the wall. You're gonna go first so that we have as many people to do it, because again, I was heavy, but you're gonna do it just like everybody else. Not because we have to do it, but because we want you to do it. And that was also a big reason why I wanted to become a junior counselor too. Because once you hit 15, that's the last year you can be a camper. If you want to come back, you have to be a junior counselor. I, again, was faced with the choice of, do I stop going to camp because I have aged out, and that makes sense, or do I go be a counselor? And again, it was a no-brainer decision when it came up to it, because we had to go away for a weekend to, make sure that we were ready and, like, stuff to actually take care of kids, train and all of that. I would have to go back and see everybody again. And when it came time to sign up, same thing, no brainer, I'm doing it. I pieced together at the time that one thing that I really liked about camp was the fact that the staff that was there were very kind and always made me feel included, including, again, the other campers as well. And that I wanted to do that for other people, which is really interesting to say now, because a lot of this channel is me telling my stories and showing my life to be there for other people and to show off what the world of being chronically ill looks like for me, and what it will probably look like for you if you're also chronically ill. And to give people a space to feel like they are seen and included. That's been a huge part of my life, honestly, because of all the bullying. And I've said this in the past, but I think it's worth saying again. There's a difference between knowing you're not the only person going through what you're going through and seeing somebody else going through what you're going through. And that is a big part of this channel, because a big part of my journey, I should say, because when I was in high school, I, for a very long time, was the only person going through what I was going through. Thankfully, in my digital graphics class, one of my friends went through their own chronic illness journey, and so we were able to really actually like converse with each other and talk about things. Shout out Amanda if you're watching. Hi, I miss you. But yeah, that's a big reason I started doing all of this, was the younger middle school me out there wanted somebody to be going through what she was going through so she didn't feel so alone, and hated every time somebody would say, oh, well, of course you're not the only one going through it. It's like, yeah, I know that, but I'm the only one here going through it. Nobody like relates to that. I can't, it's hard to connect to somebody when so much of your life is pain and doctors and being sick when they've never experienced that. It's not impossible, to be clear. It's just a little bit more difficult. I just be very clear about that. So yeah, I went back to the camp another 2 years to be a junior counselor. And of course, I could have gone back a third year, technically, but that third year was 2020, where definitely nothing happened at all, definitely. Nothing happened then. Of course, the pandemic was happening, so there was no camp. And by that point, I had truly, truly aged out, and because all of the adult staff, again, I said this is a military camp, all of the adult staff were active duty, or I think some of them were retired military. I loved this camp so much. It was so nice. At some point, they actually had to like ban phones, but I was actually okay with it because it wasn't like I was talking to anybody anyway. The only person would be my mom, and she knows where I am. So, but I would bring a digital camera and I would show off pictures of like where we would go when we would hike a mountain, when we would go kayaking, when we would go to Storyland. If you're from New England, you know Storyland. We went there at the end of camp every year. That was always fun. Yeah, we would do archery, paintball, rappelling down mountains, obstacle courses, just so much fun outdoor stuff. I liked when we banned phones, because I wasn't so sucked into the bad friends that I had. I could actually like forget about them for a week, which was something I definitely also needed. But the biggest thing was the fact that I was treated like a person, basically. I think it was a big part of, not only do I have the morals and values that I have now, but I just got distracted by something outside. It's okay. There's like a red in between the leaves outside, and I didn't know what it was. It's a chimney. No one panic. What was I talking about? Oh, having the friends that I did at camp and seeing such the drastic contrast to the friends that I had at school very much made me reevaluate a lot of those friendships, and is one of the biggest reasons why I'm not friends with any of those people today. Because if people who've known me for a single week of their life every year, for what has to be like only like 4 or 5 weeks total in our lives, can treat me more kindly and with more respect than people that have been in my life every day for almost a decade, yeah, no, they don't need to be in my life anymore. Say goodbye. We're done. Having those friends is now like the standard in my life, of if I can talk to you about my disabilities and my illnesses and you can still treat me like a person afterward, then we can stick to this. We can figure this out, keep things coming. Because I have had people that treat me like I am less of a person and should be like pushed away and not seen by the public in that sort of regard. And then I've had people that want to shove me in a spotlight and be like, look, this is my friend. I'm friends with her. Look how sick she is. Aren't I such a good person because I'm friends with them? Yeah, both suck. I don't think one sucks more than the other. I think they're both equal in their own ways, but I want somebody in the middle that can just stand by me and treat me like a person, that understands that I use my mobility aids, that I have canes, that my life and our relationship is going to need a lot of balance and communication and the things that you need in a good relationship. If I can't have that, then this isn't worth it. My life is more worth it. I think that's it for me today, this week. I hope you enjoyed my little story. I've been wanting to do a little bit more story videos. I used to do them a lot. I think I might pull and redo some of the old stories that I've done because I think they're worth retelling, especially now. Yeah, be prepared for that. Baby sleeping. I don't know if you can hear, he's snoring a bit. That's it for me this week. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you're doing well, and I will let you get back to it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. On screen now are my social media handles if you'd like to see more day-to-day things that I get up to. And with that, I will see you next week for a brand new video. Bye. I don't know why I said it like that.